Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on the book Duet, The Kingmaker by Kennedy Ryan. I loved these two books and I just want to recommend it to you guys. I thought I would give you guys a little bit of info on the book without spoiling too much. I know that I've been making a lot of beauty related videos on this channel, but I want to get back to books because I love books and yeah, why not recommend something? So before we start, I'm going to say the lighting might change. It might get darker, it might get lighter in here because it is all natural lighting. It's whatever nature wants is what's happening. So bear with me, but yeah, without further ado, let's begin. So I'm going to start by just telling you guys the first book is called The Kingmaker. Oh, where's my phone? Oh, here. I'm going to get the second one on here, but there is two books. They're by Kennedy Ryan. Loved the first one came out in October. I did mention this in my October reads. It was one of my favorite books that I read in the month. Yeah, so I really do recommend this. I love the characters, I love the story, I loved everything about it. I do believe on Goodreads I gave it 5 stars. The second one's called The Rebel King. So yeah, I'm gonna just start by telling you guys a little bit about the characters and then get into the story without telling you too much. I don't want to give too much information because I think this duet is definitely worth a read. So check it out. So basically, the story follows Lennox Hunter and Maxim Cade. Lennox is basically the female protagonist, and it kind of starts out with her. That's how the prologue starts in the first chapter and everything. So it starts off with just giving you a little bit of background information on Lennox. She is a Native American woman. She's very proud of her heritage and just where she comes from, as she should be. And she, it starts off with giving you like a little bit of information about her parents and her mom specifically. I'm not going to give too much details, but that's what's to look forward to. So the story starts, and Maxim Cade is also, he comes from a wealthy family. He's a student, he starts off as a student, and I'm gonna kind of tell you how their paths cross. So Lennox starts off as a 17-year-old girl. She is very passionate about she grew up on a reservation. I think I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. She grew up on a reservation. She basically, there is a pipeline that's being built through her res. She's worried, and they're worried about the preservation of their water, as it would make sense because of oil and whatnot, and just they don't want to soil that. And so she's protesting with another group of people from her community just to make sure that this doesn't get built. And that's how Maxim is introduced. His father is actually the man that is responsible for building the pipeline through the reservation. And basically what Lennox is saying is that this is sacred land, it's promised land. This land is not to be tampered with. It's not for people to come and build whatever they want to on here or ruin. It's their land and it's their promised land. It's the land that they've been promised. So basically the dad kind of, at this point, it goes back to Maxim's dad, and kind of like his dad is trying to groom him to be the one that takes over the company. Maxim is not here for that. He has a passion for the environment, and that's kind of what he's studying in school. He cares about environmental issues, and that's kind of how they connect. So the dad and Maxim end up going to the reservation where there's a lot of ruckus because he's getting calls from his workers and his construction workers that are saying, we can't do this, there are protesters. And he basically takes his son there to kind of be like, these are problems you're going to come across when you take over the company. And Maxim's not here for that. He's like saying, no, I'm not here for that. This is not good for the environment and you should leave these people alone. This is their land, etc. So he's kind of on that side. He's not here for what his dad is trying to do. And so they end up going to the reservation and they end up seeing the protesters, and he comes in contact or comes across Lennox, and she's really young, and she's really passionate and loud and getting people's attention. She's saying this is wrong, this is not fair, kind of telling her story about her and just her family and just whatever. So Maxim is taken with her right away. She is a pretty girl. She's but I feel like he wasn't taken with her prettiness. It was more about what she was saying. She was just like, you know, see me and hear what I'm telling you. This is wrong. And he was taken with that right away. And he basically, at this point, his dad, they're both in the car, and the dad's like, oh, you know what, this is not right. The dad is like, this, what they're doing is, you know, making a mess, and I need to get, you know, my construction on its way. So the dad's like, okay, release the hounds, release the tear gas, or whatever the hell, you know, what rich people do. They come and bulldoze what they do. At the end of the day, it's the money game for them. So they come and the workers release, you know, the tear gas to get people to move and the dogs. And Maxim automatically, with instinct, he gets out the car and he goes and runs after Lennox, and she's about to get bitten by a dog. Oh, I don't want to say too much, but she's about to get bitten with a dog. I'm already saying it. And he basically saves her, and then from there on, they kind of meet each other. They're both taken with each other. But because she is, I'm not going to say how much they go into that, but because she is of, she's underage, nothing can happen. So they basically end up going their separate ways. But then they do end up getting together again after a few more years. The story does pick up. They end up meeting again, not on purpose, but they end up meeting again. And at this point, Lennox is of age. Romantic stuff happens. It starts getting, interesting and whatnot. And at this point, um, they do get separated again, but because of personal aspirations and just kind of things that they both want to do in their career, and they feel like it's going to clash if they come together, and they do end up getting separated in the end. And so they get separated, and then after some more years, they get reconnected again, and not on purpose, but well, kind of, because, Maxim has kept tabs on Lennox. So they do get connected again. Uh, excuse me. And then more stuff happens, story progresses. I don't want to tell you too much about what's going to happen, but they do meet up again or see each other again. And the last time that they saw each other, so before they see each other after, I don't know if this makes sense, but before they left, or before they got separated the second time, they didn't leave on the greatest terms. So, Lennox is a little bit bitter and a little bit, not bitter, but she feels a way. She's harbored some feelings towards him, and that's kind of when they do see each other again, once a few more years do pass, or a lot of more years pass, they that's kind of what they work through, or what Maxim has to work through, is getting across to her, because he still has feelings for her deeply, and she's still mad, and mad about the ways things ended. So the story does go on. The story is very heavily politics wise. So Lennox gets into the world of politics. She basically, giving you background on that, when they do get separated the second time, they come back much older. So when I say older, yeah, so they come back much older, and Maxim has gotten into the world of just environmental stuff, making windmills or whatever, making wind thingies, and just being super environmental friendly, and that's how he's made it in the world. He's made billions. He becomes a billionaire. He's kind of cut himself off of his father, and he's made it in his own way, with things that are important to him. And then Lennox has gone into the world of politics, and that's kind of how she's made it in her own way. She's labeled as the Kingmaker. As far as, when I mean Kingmaker, I mean she's basically, I don't know what the correct term is, but the person that kind of helps people get political positions. So I don't know if any of you guys have watched Scandal, but like Olivia Pope, if you guys watch Scandal, Olivia Pope and her team are basically people that help people become president, or become senators, or become things like that. So that's kind of the vibe that Lennox is pushing, and that's what she's doing, and that's her job. She basically helps people become presidents, and that's how they reconnect the final time. So it is really interesting. Very much has a lot of politics involved, has a lot of environmental stuff involved. It has a lot of things to do about just Maxim and Lennox coming together. They come from two completely different worlds, and it's so beautiful to see how they were able to come together and how their love was able to kind of conquer all of that and kind of just be like that was like at the forefront of it. So I really loved it, and it was really, really interesting. I recommend it to everyone. I will say though, the first book does leave you, they do end up, something ends up happening at the end of the first book. It's a cliffhanger. I don't know. There are some people that are not here for cliffhangers. There are some people that are here for cliffhangers. I don't know. But there is a cliffhanger. But the great thing is that the second book came out like just the next month. The first one came out in October, and then the second one just came out this month. So there wasn't a long wait. But as far as now, if you end up watching it, if you end up watching this video and then reading the books, both of them are out, so you don't have to wait at all. But there is a cliffhanger at the end of the first book, and um, yeah, there's a cliffhanger, and something happens, something crazy happens, but it is interesting, and I do recommend it. I really, really loved the book. The second one kind of deals with, I don't know how to say it without giving it away. I feel like I've kind of given you the gist of the book. Um, yeah, so the first one is called The Kingmaker, and the second one is called, like I said before, The Rebel King. So I will put pictures of the covers on both here, and I will link my Goodreads down below or the Goodreads page for both of them down below. Yeah, so I love this book. I love the writing. I loved the characters, everything about it I really, really loved. I gave them both a five stars. Really loved it, and I would recommend it to everyone. Yeah, and there's no wait. So if you hate cliffhangers, you're not going to be waiting at all because they're both out. So give it a try. If you have read the book, let me know how you felt about it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. I personally loved Lennox's character. I loved how strong she was, and um, how confident, and how much she loved her people and just where she came from. And I was crying through this book, you guys. Like, there are parts where will just pull on your heartstrings, and then there are parts that are, funny and, romantic and whatnot. So if you guys are here for that, all of that stuff, I don't know, some people might be turned off from the political side of it all. If you're not really into politics and that kind of stuff, that might turn you away. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, um, I didn't feel that at all. I think the story is heavily just about the characters, and I think that it's worth a read. So give it a try. Again, if you've read it, let me know what you thought of it. Let me know how many stars you give it. Yeah, so that's my recommendation. Thank you guys for watching. Like this video if you like it. Comment like what you've read if you've read it, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.